we even said hi to each other maybe. And then I was doing her training, her new hire training, and she was in my class, and we kind of had a casual conversation, obviously throughout the training week. And at the end of the week, one of her friends, co-workers actually came up to me. You want to kind of pick it up and tell her what she did?
So my friend, I think, was more interested in Trey than I was at the time because, again, Trey was leading the training. I didn't want to, mess around with my coworkers or anything like that. So, but I did know that he was a Kappa, and I was interested in meeting some of his fraternity brothers.
Okay.
So, so ultimately, our company, whenever whenever clients are calling us, essentially, you're instructed as a new hire to fill out this worksheet, and you're supposed to say, find out what the need is. So whatever we call it, the functional role. So I told him I was looking for a late night Kappa, someone from the hours of 11 p.m. to 3 a.m. In a temporary only capacity. So it was supposed to be a short-term thing. And again, so I filled that out and I went up to Trey and I presented this to him and I was like, hey, you should hook me up with one of your fraternity brothers.
Oh my gosh, that's crazy.
And so he said, okay, well, I'll go ahead and hook you up, but I need your phone number. And so I ended up putting my phone number. The following weekend, he messaged me and he was like, hey, me and my brothers are going out and we'll be meeting here, so come meet us. So I go and I get all dazzled up, look so good, feeling myself. And I show up and it's literally just Trey there. Trey's the only person. And I'm like,
what can I say? Nobody else came out.
So Trey.
I go, where are your brothers? He's like, hey. And then after that, we never stopped talking. So that's how we started.
Hi, I'm Tyrone.
And I'm Pam.
And we're the Birds, and we're here to show you
How to love.
I tell you what we do is why don't you give the versions how you got to where I spoke?
Well, I used to work at home, and I was doing training and development, and I was working on a training program, and I went to Barnes & Noble because I was looking for a particular book, Soaring with the Eagles, and I happened to go up to the Christian section because that's where I understand the book would be, and I was up there looking for the book, and as I walked away, I happened to run into this gentleman. And this gentleman was Tyrone, and as soon as he saw me, he said, excuse me, and he gave me this line that I just said, yeah, okay, there's the line. He goes,
You look familiar.
Excuse me, you look familiar. Yeah, right. So then I thought, okay, because he was dressed nice, he talked well, I thought, okay, I'll bite. So I stepped back and I listened to him, and we can go from there.
Well, it was interesting because I was at Barnes & Noble meeting the client, and the client didn't come. And so before I left, I wanted to see Monday Night Football. I was always told just to hang around for a minute. There's a reason why you're where you are, and to be patient. So I'll just follow the spirit, being patient, and looking around, and I just happened to see her walk by as I turned toward her because I wasn't looking in her direction. And just the second I turned to her, I saw her walking by, so I just stopped her. Now, normally I don't do that on a quick occasion, but I guess I was led, and that's the reason why. But it was a funny thing as we were looking for the book. We couldn't never find it, but when we walked out to the car, I had to walk, it was closing up, it was dark, and so I said, well, I'm headed out, and I'll walk to the car. And before I did, she said, well, hold on, I got to tell you something. So.
Oh, yeah, because he was walking me out to my car, and I said, I have to tell you that I'm parked in the handicap section. And his immediate thought was...
Yeah, I'm like integrity was going out the window with this person parking the handicap.
Right.
But then when she said that, I had to take a look back. I said, man, how old is she?
Well, the reason he said, well, how old are you? Is because I said, well, the reason I'm parked in the handicap parking space is because I just had a hip replacement done. And so it was the first day without my cane. And so I had to park in the handicap section. And I did have a legitimate parking permit, so I was good. But I figured he probably wondered why she's parking in the handicap parking space. And that's when he thought, she had a hip replacement. How old is she?
Yeah, so But she didn't look that she would be that old. So I said, well, I had never heard of nobody get.
Hi, I'm Joy.
And I'm Ken.
And we've been married for 6 months.
And we are the Stokes.
And we're here to show you
how to love.
Yeah. See how we met. Me and Ken met on the radio. Back in the day, I had a show called Michael and Joy in the Morning. And you were actually a guest on the show.
I was. I need you to listen.
He was a guest on the show.
I need you to be serious about this love right now. They need to know how serious this love is. Let these folk know how you met your dream man.
So, he was a guest on the show. At the time, you were promoting an album. And yes. He was promoting an album. And after the show, we always do these photos and, these funny face photos of me and Michael and all the guests. Mm-hmm. And then we do them individually. And so I asked him for his phone number so that I could send him the photos.
Let's stay there for a minute. What did you do?
I asked you for your phone number.
There we go. Remember that. Remember that. People.
So I asked him for his phone number so that I can send him the photos. And then about a week later, you started calling me. I'm just joking.
Okay. All right.
I'm just joking. He didn't start calling me, but I sent you the photos. And then he came back on the show to do...
A year later.
No. You did Straight from the Source.
Oh, yeah, that was probably a couple
right,
years
okay.
Ago.
Is this my version or you like what are we doing here?
I'm
just kind of jumping in?
I'm just trying to keep you in the room.
Okay, all right. Well,
you know how you get on that side.
Swerving off.
You know how that thing when you're on the side. Yeah, that's what you kind of doing. Right?
No. So actually, you added stuff that's like messing the timeline up. Okay, so I sent her the photos. Okay. He came back on the radio about maybe like a month or so later to do something called Straight from the Source, which was more of a one-on-one in-depth video. Mm-hmm. And I think at this point, maybe me and you every once in a while might have been talk on telephone, maybe. Just like checking in.
Kind of cute.
I know.
Yeah, well, go ahead.
Okay, so anyway, I think that at this point we might have just been like, hey, how you been? What you been up to or whatever. Mm-hmm. And so he came on, and then Michael afterwards, it was the morning time, Michael said, hey, why don't we all go grab something to eat? And so we were like, all right, cool. And then Michael never showed up. And so it was me and Ken at the White House eating breakfast. And so that's essentially how we met.
That's exactly how we met. So let's go back.
I was going to ask any addendums.
So let's go back. Now, this is the part we always have a little misunderstanding.
Okay.
She said it herself. I took his number.
Mm-hmm. I actually said I asked you for your number.
She got my number to send me some pictures that I didn't even need. Mm-hmm. Cool. I saw what was happening.
Okay.
So she sent me the pictures. Cool. Thank you, Joy. And then after that, she'll send a, hey, how you doing? I was just speaking. I was just like, well, this little Chinese girl don't get on somewhere. But, we kicked it, we cool. Now, I came back a year later. After the Straight from the Source, I came back whole year later, in January again. Mm. Now, the Straight for the Source now, let me tell you this. So she did the interview with me. And she just playing with her hair. Her hair was long at this time. Every time she talked to me, she'd just throw her hair. And I'm sitting there like, well, somebody don't get it good.
First off, you were not even paying attention to me playing with my hair till we went back and watched the video. Like, after we got together, you were like, oh, look at you playing in your hair. You are so funny.
You were choosing, though.
Oh, okay.
My boy, you wanted that macaroni. But anyway.
I did, Tony.
So a year later, I come back and do a show again. And we kick it. We friends. We were kicking it. We were cool, man. We were really cool. And
started going to the gym together.
I said, man, listen, you're a star. But you got to get that body right. Mm-hmm. I said, you got to get the full package. You got to get out here and kill these girls. You got to let them know you're a champ. That's how I used to talk to her from the day I met her.
Yes.
And she used to say, stop. I'm not ready for all of that. I don't want that. Just leave me alone. Just let me do it in my own time.
First off, I did not sound like...
You be like, man, listen, man, you're a star. You can't play number 2 to nobody. You're a champ. Stop. Just give me a minute.
I was working on some things, and I wasn't ready.
But from day one, when I walked through that door, the first time I ever laid eyes on her, I said, this girl here is a superstar.
Actually, talk to me about how you guys met.
My version of his version.
I want both of them.
Every time somebody say that, man, I gotta say I gotta adjust myself. Every time somebody asks that, I'm like,
because my version is the truth.
It's not. It's not.
Okay, I'm gonna picture this. This is how it started. We were at an alumni barbecue, and I didn't notice him then. I was with my sister, and we hung out with him.
As they said, we weren't checking for each other at
we
that particular
weren't
time.
at all. So later on that evening, I got with some of my high school classmates because it was a high school alumni event. Okay. And we all went to this so-called after party, and we were all there at the club or whatever, and he spoke to everyone, gave them a hug, everything, but me. Like, I was at the end.
Not on purpose. I don't know why it happened that way, but it did happen.
Right.
That part happened.
It's funny, at least. Okay.
And I was like, who this joker? Like, who is he? Who does he think he is? I was just like, fabulous. And I'm like, he didn't even speak or anything. So.
I love it.
So then, I said something to you, right?
Yeah. You was like, wow, that's all. I mean, everybody get a hug or whatever.
I was like, is that the only person these are the only ones you see or something like that? He's like, oh, I apologize. And he went to, say hello. And I was like, never mind. Like, and then we went and sat down, and he came up like behind me, and he was like, I want to make good on this and that and that. He was like, can I offer you a drink? Can I buy you a drink? And I was like, you have to buy me and all of my friends a drink.
Yeah, she tapped the pockets early.
Yeah. So he bought everybody a drink.
I would have been in shutdown mode right there.
So he bought everyone a drink, and he said, Matt, would you like to dance? And I was like, no, my feet are killing me. I don't want to dance. And later on that night, he saw me on the dance floor.
Not later. Not, we talking about within the next 25 minutes.
And he was like, wait a minute. I said, yes, and I'm getting ready to go sit down right now. So I left and sat down. And then we're getting ready to leave, and he just pops up behind me. Like, he said it was a coincidence, but he, like, literally popped up behind me. We were walking out, and I was like, is this guy following us? Like, what's up?
Wow.
And he was like, well, can I walk into your car? And I was like, sure. So he walked me to my car, and he was like, I enjoyed meeting you tonight, blah, 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 whatever. So I got ready to get in the car. He's like, but wait, you didn't get my number. And no, yeah, you said he didn't get my number. And I was like, okay, I'll find you on Facebook. Like that.
See?
Go ahead. Then he said,
go ahead. Yeah, you're right.
And then he said, but
you
don't even know my name. And I was like, what's your name? Like that. And then he told me his name. And I was like, okay, I'll find you on Facebook. And like 2 weeks later, I think I inboxed him.
Yeah.
Now, what's your version?
I was going to say, what's your altered version?
All right. Again.
But I have receipts. I have friends who can say that's what.
Again. Yes, we were at a high school alumni picnic. My partner and I, we help organize or whatever. And there was an after party. We did go to the after party. All that part is true. I saw a group of them, a young lady, big shout out to Miss Deanna Mitchell.
Yeah, that's
because if it wasn't for her, we wouldn't be together.
Right.
So saw her and a bunch of young ladies. I spoke to everybody. Hey, and I don't understand why it didn't happen. But it just, I didn't hug her like, when I met everybody else. Cool. And then she made her response. I said, I apologize. And went in, she was like, no, okay, leave you alone. And like you said, I came back, did want to make good, so I did offer to buy a beverage. And she said, well, you gotta do all your friends, all my friends. I said, okay, cool. Bartender was a friend, so, It was all right. Still paid, but not as much as I would have. Should have paid. Came back. Did proceed to try to converse a little bit. I said, hey, you want to dance? And she was like, nah, I'm a fear. I said, okay, whatever. And then, because I love the dance floor. Then, shortly after that, I see her on the dance floor with one of her classmates, one of my partners. I'm like, well, dang. You just said you was tired, your fear. And she said, oh, yeah, my fear. I said, so I gave her that, whatever, you know. And then, excuse me, the night proceeded, or what have you.
Were you already feeling her at this point?
I mean, yes, but not in a pursuit feeling, but just like, hey, I wanted to make good. I wanted to let her know that I wasn't that dude. You know what I'm saying? And so we all went back to the little VIP area. Then collectively, somebody was like, oh, we're going to go to such and such spot. So everybody kind of gathered up, said we were going to go over to the Legion, I believe, after that. Everybody was going to go to the Legion, you know.
Not me.
I know, but yeah. They were always like, oh, everybody was leaving, we go to the Legion, what have you. So we were all going out together, was not following her. We all left at the same time. We all left at the same time. There's only one door. So I got to go to that door. Just so happens, she went left, my car was left. All right? So we're walking. Now, as she's walking, I loved her. I love seeing her come, but boy, it was great to see her go too. If you know what I mean. So I'm looking, you know, with the rhythm. You know, so then I go up to him, you know, and talk and try to converse. I say, you know what? Yeah, I'm going to go in. You know, so I'm going in, whatever. She's like, you following me? I'm like, no. I said, my car's over here too. Right, whatever. I'm like, my car is literally.
My head like that.
Literally, my car's in the same parking lot. You have the parking spaces that's right in front of the retail stores. Then you have a driveway. Then you have another set of parking.
Right.
My car was on the other side. And so I go in and I'm thinking maybe to come in and you know, try to swoop in and maybe see what happens.
That's perfect.
And no, answer no. I'm
That's
gonna tell my story.
That's my
story.
My mail lady.
So so I go to it. I am trying to talk to her. You know, this, that, and the third. And so I'm like, well, hey, can I get your number, whatever? No. I said, well, how am I gonna get in touch with you? I'll find you. She didn't ask me what my name was, whatever. She already knew who I was.
Okay.
All right, because Dion had already said, oh, that's JT. Because she was like, well, who do you think it is? And my friend Dion at the time was like, oh, that's JT. He cool, whatever. So for her to say she didn't know my name at that particular time, that wasn't part true. Because I was like, hey, if you're interested, how am I going to get in touch? Don't worry, I'll find you. And this is exactly what she did with her hand. I'll find you.
I did say that. I was like,
exactly. I was like, all right. And bounced.
No, but Hootie, she didn't give me like all your information. She was like, Jamie, don't be mean. He's a cool guy.
No, I was
she said that.
Well, I was telling them when you said at the car, I said, what's your name? You knew my name already. You were like, I said,
actually, no. She just said he's a good guy. Well, she said JT. I didn't know him by JT.
Exactly.
When I met him.
Because the reason why you said, what's my name, is because I find you on Facebook. I said, well, you don't even know
that
what JT stands for.
You must have really did that.
That's her hand. It's going to come up during this
so
interview.
extra.
It's going to come up.
He is so
She's going to work to not put it up, but it's going to come up.
He's so
she was. I said, how you going to find me on Facebook? You don't even know what JT stand for. So what is it?
That's not how it went. But you know, there's always it's three sides, you know?
Hers, mine, and the truth.
Hey y'all, we're the girlies. I'm Iman.
I'm Bert.
We have been together for 14 years, married for 9. We got married back in 2010, been together since 2005. And we have a daughter, Gabrielle Willow Curly,
Jeezy,
that we call Gigi. And
it's sort of gonna be like the Martin and Gina episode. How Martin first met Gina. She gonna put something out there that I don't tell the truth.
This is what I deal with. But so we met because a Friday comes, I go out. I didn't want to go out by myself, so I called my cousin. So my cousin meets me, and we go to this restaurant, Pascal's, downtown Atlanta. Went to Pascal's for a Kappa happy hour. And we're there, we're having a good time. Then all of a sudden, everybody was like, Bird, Bird. And I was like, BG. And I was like, okay, like, who is this guy? Like, what's the big deal? Like, why is everybody, all on his tip? Like, what's the deal? It's like, okay, so, everybody kind of crowded around. We talking, we get eye contact, but I'm still like, no big deal. So I leave, my cousin finally makes it. We get ready to leave. And I'm standing outside, and I hear somebody, I'm fussing at ballet, because I'd given him a 20, and I was like, hey.
Mr. Carter, we had a conversation before.
In the group. You can tell this part.
No.
So while we're there, we have a brief conversation, a brief interaction. And like I said, we had already had eye contact, but at this point, I was just like, nah, keep it moving. I wasn't going to make like a move. You know what I mean? Kept it moving. So I go outside to get my car, give the valet a 20, and I'm like, give me a 10, a 5, and 5 ones. Don't give me a bunch of busted up ones. I'm going through all this with the guy, right? And then all of a sudden, I hear somebody behind me, and they're like, don't worry about it, man. I got it. I was like, wait a minute. Now, I look back, and I was like, oh, Lord. It's glasses. Because I was calling him glasses in the restaurant to my girl. I was like, girl, everybody's all glasses, tip glasses came in, so this was my name for him. So we doing our thing. So he walks up, and he, I got you, man. Go ahead. And he goes to get my car. My cousin went to go get her car, and so we standing there talking, and I was like, I guess I gotta say thank you, huh? He was like, yeah, you do. So we go back and forth, and he was like, can I get your number? And I was like, yeah, you can get my number, you deserve a number, I'll give you my number. Give him his number, they give me my car, I drive off. I'm not even at the parking lot at the first light, and my phone rings. And I'm like, hello? And he was like, hey, this is BG. Just wanted to let you know I want you and your girls to have a good time tonight. Enjoy yourself. Look forward to getting to know you. This, that, and the other. And I was all right, yeah, okay, bye. Get off the phone. We have a great night. Fast forward to the next morning. Saturday morning, it's not even like 11 o'clock yet. We went to the mall. And my phone rings again. I'm like, this gotta be glasses again. Like, I didn't say this number. I didn't get anybody else's number. And it's crazy because I didn't put anybody else's number on my phone, but I got like cards and stuff through the night. Didn't do anything. And I answered. He was like, hey, Yes. He was like, so it's I wanted to, catch you early in the day. I know it's the weekend. I wanted to see if you have plans tonight. I want to take you out for dinner. And I was like, dang, he working quick. I said, free meal? Saturday night?
Parking?
I'm coming to be something more. So that's kind of how we met and how it all kind of progressed.
Pretty good. My side of the story is pretty much I had some homegirls that I knew because some nukes had just ready to cross. And I told them, hey, there's a party, going down. Some guys just crossed. You all go down there and hang out for the party. And I was broke in between checks. So I wasn't going anywhere. I lived in Lawrenceville, so I wasn't going anywhere. I was like, man, I got a half a tank of gas, and I got a hot $2 in my pocket. Hot $2. I wasn't going anywhere. So, but my homegirls who got down there, they're like, where are you? Why aren't you here? You invited us down here, and why aren't you here? Bring your butt down here. I was like, oh my God. I got to burn a half a tank of gas, go down here with $2. What am I supposed to do? So I went down there and I get in there, and pretty much everybody in the room who just crossed, I pretty much made. So everybody, of course, they knew me. It was like, oh, yo, what's up? And I saw her. We kind of locked eyes, and she reminded me of Gabby Union. I was like, what's Gabby Union doing here? And I looked up, and I'm like, wow. We kind of looked. Then everybody stopped interacting again and moved me off. And then we had a brief conversation about the case or whatever. And she was ready to leave. Her and her cousin was walking out. And, it just, just being transparent, in my past, whatever, I was never really the type to approach women. I was pretty much just sit back and, chicks, say what's up to me, yada, yada. So I wasn't really the type to be pressed and push up on chicks like that. But, this is probably one of the first times ever that I was actually single, like really single, And I was sitting there, and she walked past me, whatever. She kind of looked, but she kept going. And God said, "Get up." I was like, "Whoa, no, that's not what I do. That's not my thing. Like, get up." oh my God. So I get up, all the way out my comfort zone. I get up, I walk down there, and she was with her cousin. I didn't know who was the cousin, but her homegirl at the time. And you know how they approach one female, not the other.
Yeah.
I said, man, old girl gonna hate because I'm not talking to her, and it's gonna be. So as I'm walking, she walks off. I'm like, man, God really know he doing his thing right now. I'm like, wow, dude, he really showed out right now. So I go down there, but as I get closer, she's going ham on the poor valet dude about breaking the 20. She was just like, blah, blah, blah. Oh my God. She's going ham on dude about, she wanted to break up a 20 just to give her a tip. So I reach in my pocket for them $2. $2.
Wow.
It's one of those, I couldn't get my hand in my pocket. I was like, $2 my last $2. I don't get.
Oh, that's right, because you was in between checks.
I was in between checks. I wouldn't get paid for another Friday. This is like on a.
It was a Friday.
So I wouldn't get paid to the next Friday. So I was like, bro. So I pulled them $2 out and I walked in and said, hey, I got it. She turns around and looked like, no, who are you? And I hand dude the $2. And he grabs it and I'm still kind of like holding it. I was still holding it like, whoa. And he pulled up my hand. I was like,
that is so funny.
hope she's worth you $2. Hope she's worth you $2. So then I get her number, whatever.
He called twice.
He was like, call her. I was like, whoa, you make me look real bad, thirsty out here, dude. I'm like, oh my God. So I'm like, so I called her. And like, hey, I really want to really have a, real conversation with you and yada, yada, yada. And the thing is, her girl in the background, laughing and whatnot. I saw these chicks clowning me in the background. I was like, why are they laughing at the time of their lives? Like, oh. But, I was like, you know what? This is what I want. Because I've been in and out relationships for years. And, it's just like, I don't want to dumb it down to as far as just buying a house or a car. After a while, if you've been shopping long enough, you know what you want. You know what you want. So I knew at that point in time, I was like, okay. It's crazy thing she didn't know then. I knew then that she was it. I knew at that point she was it. It was over for me. Of course, you got to shut down other things going on around you, but I knew then when I met her that I did all these things outside my comfort zone. I said, unless something really, really major happens, this is it.
Hi, I'm Latasha McFadden.
And I'm Michael McFadden. And we've been married for 23 years now.
We've been together for 26 years.
And we want to show you
how to love. We worked for 2 doctors. And the 2 doctors that we worked for were very good friends. And they kind of brought us together. Michael was an oral surgeon assistant. And I was an assistant for Dr. Manley at West End Medical Centers. I needed a wisdom tooth out. So Dr. Manley sent me to Michael's doctor, Dr. Williams.
75 Piedmont.
And Michael was the assistant. And so back then I was together.
You still are.
I was really small. I'm just saying it was different because I was much younger. I think I was 23.
You're much
24.
older than me, so
But when I got there, Michael was the assistant, so he pulled me back. I thought he was cute. But after they put me under anesthesia, I could hear them talking about me.
We were not talking. No, that. It was all.
They probably thought I couldn't hear.
No, it
but
was
I could
all
hear them
business.
talking about me.
I didn't say anything. We didn't say anything. This was in the early '90s, so
They was being flirtatious, but not overly flirtatious. And
what I told Dr. Williams was, I'm gonna get that.
Yeah,
that's what I said.
And they thought I didn't hear that. They thought I didn't know what they were saying, and I kind of pretended like I didn't know what they were saying, but I heard them. But at that time, I wasn't really checking for nobody, really.
And then I started groping her.
No,
I'm joking. But she had a wisdom tooth extracted, and then it's our normal procedure to call the patient after the surgery. So we called her and checked on, make sure she was okay. And then one day she called in to refer another patient. She said, "Hey, this is Latasha calling from Dr. Manley's office. We want to refer a patient." And my opening line was, when you taking me to dinner? And that's when it all started.
Nice. Okay.
What was my response?
I was gonna say,
It was like, when you ready.
No, I probably said, when you take me to dinner. I'm not paying for nobody's food.
That was her response. And I think there was a physical attraction back then,
Right.
but it was so innocent. And I thought when I heard her voice on the phone that time, I said, it's time for me to shoot my shot. I don't think we were saying shoot my shot back then, but it was just a perfect opportunity for me to drop a corny line
And it was
like
a sweet
that.
gesture.
And it was a sweet gesture and regular. And the one thing that really stood out, Elam, was the fact that she showed up to the house. I grew up in Southwest Atlanta, and by this time, I had got out the military, and I was living back at home with my mom, making some adjustments in my life. And she would come see me. She was at Greenbrier Mall one day and went to. She was up at Greenbrier catching a sale like she still does today.
Yeah.
There was a great sale at Finale in Greenbrier Mall, and
in Riches.
Yeah, in Riches, and she pulled up and honked a little horn. Me and the partners, we hanging out under the carport. And she said, I was at Riches and I got some stuff for you. And I think it was at that point that I realized, I was like, now this is a woman who's looking out for me. Like, I didn't ask. She just knew that, hey, this is, I got some, some Guess shorts for $7, socks on sale for $2 for 6 pair. And I think it was at that point, Elam, to where I realized there was something very different about the woman that I was dating.
I think for me, the relationships that I had prior to Michael were different, a little rocky. I had been dating guys that were hustlers, that was in the streets. And normally they had me and somebody else. And back then I really didn't care about that. It was more about the money and things of that nature. And then I had my daughter. And that kind of put a spin on it for me because it made me realize that it wasn't just about me and I needed to calm down. And that anybody I brought into her life, I started to look at it as if when I met somebody, I wanted certain qualities. I wanted someone that I can genuinely feel like that they were caring, that they were understanding, that they would listen to me. And I had never really been with anybody like that. Those were just not the things that I was looking for when I was young. And so when I met Michael, I think one of the sweetest things for me is that he was considerate, and he let me voice my opinion. He let me be myself because I was so used to not being myself in such a rough environment. Even though I grew up in the suburbs, I still was able to kind of maneuver my way in a hustle mentality type of world. And so when I met Michael, he was kind of a far cry from that. I'm sure in our story, Michael would tell you that he did that before. But when he came to Atlanta out of the military, very respectful, just something that I wasn't used to. And so when I would fish ideas to Michael or talk to Michael about what I thought, how I felt, my beliefs, what I wanted, the fact that I'm a go-getter, I'm very ambitious, I'm a perfectionist, he kind of took that and was like, that's good, you're very interesting. And I saw that he felt enough about me to take what I said to heart and to kind of listen to me. Potential was big for me back then. Knowing that I could find somebody that I could grow with, that loved me, I loved them, I could build a family with, and felt like what I said mattered. And that's one of the things that drew me.